Okay, so for which of the following would it be most appropriate to use an ANOVA to analyze the data? So for which of the following would it be most appropriate to use ANOVA? Let's see. A researcher is interested in determining the most effective format for advertising. He randomly assigned 60 people to one of three groups: television commercial, radio commercial, magazine. Group members review the commercial and then report whether or not they would buy the product. That sounds good, right? Three groups, ANOVA. In order to determine the effectiveness of different diet plans, would this be good for ANOVA? 90 people are randomly assigned to one of three groups: low carb diet, low fat diet, low carb. Oh, sorry, I didn't read it. Low calorie diet, low fat diet, low carb diet. There we go. At the end of 60 days, the number of pounds lost was recorded for each of the participants. Don't they both seem kind of good for ANOVA? ANOVA is when you have, more than two groups, right? So let me write that down. ANOVA is for when you have more than two groups. That's why we're studying it. Okay, but ANOVA is only for averages, means, not percentage, not percentage. In other words, look here, number of pounds lost. Yeah, that's good. That's going to be an average, right? You're going to figure out the average amount of pounds lost for the low calorie diet, the low fat diet, and the low carb diet. Yeah, that's exactly right. What are you going to do on this one here? Report whether or not they would buy the product. In other words, you're going to get what percentage. You're going to say from the TV commercial, if we showed a TV commercial, 20% of the people who saw the commercial bought the product. And for the radio, maybe only 10% bought the product. And for the magazine, maybe only 8% of those who saw the ad in the magazine eventually bought the product. You see, that's going to be percentage. How do I know? Well, so this is not the right answer. Because it's got to be percentages. Why? Because right here, reports whether or not. In other words, if they had said report how much they spent, dollar amount they spent on the product, that could be an average. That would make it ANOVA. Are you seeing the difference? ANOVA is only for averages, not for percentages. There's different kind of statistical tests they use when you have three groups for percentages. We're not going to study it. It's in more advanced statistical classes. But I want you to know ANOVA tests are for more than two groups, and it's only for averages, not for percentages. And see, the second question, they just said whether or not they would buy the product. So that's going to end up being a percentage. 20% did buy it. The other 80% did not buy it, right? That's going to be a percentage. If instead they had made the study, let's figure out the average amount of money people spend on the product who see the television commercial, the radio, or the magazine, that would be an average, and then you could do ANOVA to test that. But the way they've set it up, whether or not they would buy it, that ends up being a percentage, and that's not ANOVA. So that's what they're wanting us to understand there.